When RimWorld updated to Beta 19, it brought in a new system with prisoners where you recruit them by breaking the resistance first and then recruiting them. And I think this is to make it a little easier to recruit people in general, especially if they start with a really high difficulty, because you can kind of whittle them down bit by bit. Some people say that if you go for recruit straight away, you sort of get an extra roll for breaking resistance, and it helps you be more efficient in that regard, in that you recruit them earlier on, and you attempt to recruit on the side anyway, or something like that. I'm not really sure. I always just went reduce resistance because it's often quite high, and I figured we'd do that first, then try to recruit. But people argue with me that recruiting is better right off the bat, so I figured I would try it out, and we'll see what's going on here. I've got Mayo, who's set at a 20 social skill, who's just absolutely phenomenal, so hopefully we see the biggest possible differences here, and we can kind of compare and contrast what each of them do. So what I'll do is I've got the game saved at this point here. We'll use Mayo to talk to combo, reduce resistance, load game, reduce, load game, reduce, load game, reduce, and we'll kind of get an average and figure out what's happening. And then we'll switch this over to recruit, and we'll do the same thing over and over again with that, and see if there's really actually any difference here at all whatsoever. And yeah, we'll see how it goes. So first up, we are reducing resistance. Now, like I said, there was a little bit of conversation about if you're on recruit, you talk to them a bit more. And since you can't recruit them before reducing resistance, it reduces resistance more than simply just reducing resistance would have done. That doesn't make much sense to me, so I'm a bit curious to see how this works. Sure is taking a little while. Okay, resistance reduced 84 to 81.3. And that's it. That's all that happened. So it could also be that if we wait a while and we talk to them again, perhaps it's better in the long run, but that's why I've got Mayo's skill set at 20, so we see the biggest differences first off. And worst case, if that ends up skewing the results, I can get somebody who's a bit more normal skilled, and we'll see what happens. But I'll load, and we'll try it again and see what happens the second time. Take 2, reducing combo's resistance. Down to 81.3 again. And that's the end of it. Take 3, reducing resistance again. 81.2 this time. Hey, slightly better. But still just the one attempt, and that's it. It's a bit crude switching it over to recruit already because we've only done this 3 times, but each time it was pretty much exactly the same, and just to see if there's any difference at all whatsoever, we'll switch over to recruit now and see how this goes instead. So we still talk to them, we're going for the recruit, but the resistance is high, so it shouldn't work, but it should instead reduce the resistance. Down to 81.3, but that's the end of it. Attempt number 2, just going straight for the recruit. Reduce down to 81.3 again. And that's it. And attempt number 3, going for the recruit. I'm expecting it to be pretty much the same, maybe even 81.2. 81.3 again. And that's the end of it. No change. It really doesn't matter if you go for reducing resistance or if you go for the just straight for the recruit. Both of them reduce the resistance by the same amount. I can't see any difference going on at all whatsoever. So I guess for simplicity's sake, you may as well put them on recruit, just so then you automatically try to recruit them afterwards, I guess, rather than just reduce resistance. Because it's not like you can spam reduce resistance on the guy and get that going. Although, maybe that's a thing. Just to see how many times we actually talk to the guy throughout the day if we're on reduced resistance versus recruit, I'm going to let this roll on for a day or two. We're currently at 13th hour, so I guess the 5th or maybe the 6th of August, we'll check around again at 13th hour. We'll see how many times we talk to Kamba and see if there's any difference in the resistance then at that point, because maybe one chat's not enough. Maybe it's over the course of the day. Perhaps if you're on reduced resistance, you talk to them more. I'm not really sure. We'll see how it goes. Both of their needs are at 0 for rust, and they both have food, so I think we should both maybe eat and go to bed and we'll see if perhaps we're in sync. Yeah, okay. In sync-ish. And Mayo's current schedule is just on anything throughout the entire day, so should be okay. We'll start the count now. And we'll see. We'll probably let it go 2 days. The 6th of August, 13th hour. We'll check again. Yeah, thanks, Whitestone. Not now. And we're at 13th hour. I think that was 4 times we spoke to Kamba, and we're down to 71.6 resistance across 2 days of talking to him. So we'll try that again. We'll put it on recruit and see if there's any difference at all. And 13th hour, again, pretty much the exact same schedule that they both had. Talking to him at roughly the same times. His prisoner's at 71.6. He spoke to him 4 times, so it's the exact same. There's no difference whether you speak to them. Just like as a one-off thing or over the course of a couple times, you don't talk to them more, it's not more effective. You may as well just put them on recruit if you're actually interested in having them. Otherwise, just reduce resistance if you plan on just getting your social skill up there for the wardens a little bit. Otherwise, it doesn't really matter which one you have it on. Both of them reduce resistance at the same rate. And that's it. That's all. It's pretty simple. It's basically just, do you want to talk to them? Because it used to be a, I think it was just a thing that you select for just talking to them. And that's all it was just chit chat every now and again for a little bit of social. So I don't know. I guess the resistance was brought in to make it a little easier to recruit them down the road if you change your mind, so it's not like all the chit chat was wasted time. I'm not really sure. Personally, I'm still waiting for the mild beatings to come back in from like Alpha 4. Those were good times. Mild beating, moderate beating, those were good times. Back when we had good old fear tech and remote mines. Or proximity mines. I think proximity. That was a long time ago. I've been playing this for a bit, okay? Leave me alone. If you like this, let me know. Leave a comment. Other things that you'd like to see. Kind of doing a little bit of a myth / clarification type video series type thing that I've got going on. I've got a couple more ideas, but always on the lookout for more. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you'd like to see. Leave a comment, etc., etc. Yada, yada, yada.